They took us to the railroad station. There were freight cars waiting. They put us in there, about 50 people in a car. There were children, newborns, women and old people, representing all of Polish society, with one exception. There were no men between 18 and 60. These men were in the army or arrested already.
And then they came to take us. I burst into tears. I cried and cried. I just could not help it. I was so scared that we were going to lose touch with our daddy. Our daddy had been taken already. We did not know where, and we did not know where they were taking us either.
Nobody asked how much money one was going to earn, but everybody asked how much bread one was going to get. We all survived on what we took with us from our homes. We had a foretaste of what awaited us.
We were really worried about how we could survive a winter there. We were not prepared.
At night we passed by the Ural Mountains. In the morning I looked out of the window. The train was moving very slowly. I saw huge stones next to the train tracks. On them names were engraved. Some of them were Polish. There were names of those people who built the railroad, people who were deported to Siberia a long time ago.
The train started to move, and we went on and on for such a long time, and it took us to Arkhangelsk.
The cold, the mosquitoes, the climate. But the hardest part, I think, it was our feelings that were the hardest to take. The feeling that perhaps we had no future. The mobilization was announced. We knew that the war would come, that it was only a question of days, and yet, I don't know, maybe it's in human nature that one always has a hope. Well, maybe something will happen and there will be no war. But the war did break out. I realized this when I heard explosions of bombs being dropped upon Krakow on September the 1st. We heard airplane engines. We ran out of our house, looked up at the sky and saw squadrons of German planes. 3 German bombers appeared. They flew along a main street, not dropping big bombs, but from time to time, small bombs. I was in a park then, near some office. It was not so much the noise of exploding bombs that were terrifying as it was the pounding roar of the iron store shutters.
My mother, my brothers, and I, we were running close to the walls of the buildings, trying to stay safe. From one building to another, from one door to another. On our way, we met a woman. She was holding a pillow stained with blood, and she was crying. She told my mother, a piece of shell hit my daughter.
Russians entered Brody on September 19 and of course immediately arrested our father. September 17, Sunday, we were going out. On the streets we saw soldiers. A gunfight started. The soldiers were not Polish, not Germans. Different uniforms. They were Russian and they shouted, "Stay inside, stay inside."
Dobijani się do naszych drzwi I wchodzą nam
They battered down our door with rifles, and when they entered, they ordered us in Russian, "Pack your things." And they told us that we had half an hour to get ready.
Pół godziny czasu na ubranie się.
Soldiers came with the command for deportation. Deportation to the Soviet Union. So we took whatever we could. Somehow all of us were ready for it, and we knew at any minute maybe something bad could happen because some people were already deported. Deportation already started. We had a big basket. It needed 2 people to carry it, so we put whatever we could in the basket. Food, and they took us by a car to the railroad station. They arrested our father. He did not go with us. By order of the National Commissariat, oh, I know it is in Russian, you will be deported. My parents had not allowed me to go out to see Carmen. They were worried what would happen if, while you were in the theater, we were to be taken for deportation to Siberia. So I did not go. Around midnight on July 31st, they came. That was the Russian political police. It was NKVD.
To było NKVD.
We were sentenced to 20 years. They put us on the trucks. Inside we saw many familiar faces. Somehow it made this terrible thing easier to handle. On our way to the railroad station, we passed by our church and our home where I was born. Oh, just 12 kilometers from the station. At the station, we saw a long, long train, freight cars with bars in the very small windows. Screaming, crying, and in despair. The surface of the freight yard was full of ditches and the rubble of broken bricks and glass on which people were standing, shouting, trying to find their relatives or friends. The soldiers would not allow them to come any closer to the train. Everybody was shouting.
They put us into railroad freight cars, equipped with 3 level platforms for sleeping. In one corner there was a curtain going around a hole in the floor, which served as a toilet. Each car held some 30 to 40 people. The train started to move slowly. 2 or rather 3 locomotives, and they were armed soldiers on the roof. There were freight cars waiting. They had planks inside, organized on 2 levels, and we would lie there. In our freight car were more than 20 people, mothers with little children, One was even a newborn. Also my friends from school, some girls also, all with their families.
Z gimnazjum, koledzy